Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Mazezoke speaking to us today, being the Thursday, 16th of September, 2021. This live, they say, balance. As many of you, I must first of all apologize for coming in late. Reason being, it's people, a lot is happening. Jesus Christ. A lot. My show keeps expanding. The more there are topics that are developing that I cannot afford to leave behind. I was about coming online before the news broke that Femi Fani-Kayode has officially joined the APC. After all the denials, he has officially joined the All for Regressive Confidence. All for Progressive Confidence. Can you believe that? This is human nature. This life, as they say once more, no balance. Well, again, let me bring him in and let us hear from the horse's mouth. Femi-Kayode, okay, tell us what happened. So you can see that now. Finally met. I can't laugh, people. Finally met with Mr. President and eventually come out to announce that he has officially, after many months of denying because I was late because I needed to go back to my archive to bring so many of these videos back. This evening is going to be an interesting evening. This is where he met with Mr. President.
And our newest.
Hold on. So let's see when they will talk now. Just quickly.
Well, we are here to present our newest
acquisition
member of the party to Mr. President and leader of the party. Chief Femi Fani-Kayode. He's the newest member of APC. We just received him, and in appreciation and understanding of Mr. President's vision and magnanimity.
How did the President receive him?
No, he received him very well. And, Mr. President is a magnanimous leader who shares his vision with anybody who is looking towards greater Nigeria. So he's happy and he received him very well. He commended his courage.
Why APC?
Well, why not? The point is that I felt that this was the appropriate time to do the right thing, to put Nigeria first, and to appreciate the efforts that have been made, particularly in the last couple of years, in terms of security, fighting insurgency, fighting terrorism, and most importantly, is the appreciation of the fact that we must remain one as a nation, build bridges, work together to move the country forward. The efforts of the governor of Yobe State, the governor of Zamfara State, and a number of others, including the governor of Kogi and a number of others, in their respective states, and in moving this country forward and in helping Mr. President to move this country forward, cannot be ignored. And it's very, very important for us to appreciate the fact that when we see that there are good things that are happening, we appreciate those good things. It's not always negative. And when the time is right, we change direction to join forces and join hands to move the country forward. And doing this doesn't mean we're enemies to anybody. All of us, even if we're in another party, the PDP or any other party or any other group, we can still work together across party lines, regional lines, ethnic lines and religious lines. The most important thing is for us to understand and appreciate the fact that Nigeria must not disintegrate, and those that want us to end up fighting one another in a war will be put to shame. And there are people that think like that, and that is what informed me to come here to meet Mr. President. He was very gracious, he was very good to me today, spoke so well, and it's an honor for me to be here, and we will move the country forward together.
How do you think your former party, the PDP, will receive
Well, that's left to them. I have many, many friends in the PDP. If you remember, in 2013, I was actually one of those that formed the APC until there were a few issues and I went back to PDP. But I think it's an individual thing. As a party, of course, they may not be too happy, but I have no enemies there, and I have nothing negative to say about anybody there. I believe in moving the country forward together with everybody that believes in Nigeria and wants Nigeria to progress. And I also believe that we must recognize the fact that there are 2 more years for this administration or thereabouts. We must come together to make sure we survive it. We must come together to make sure Nigeria is a better place, and we must work together regardless of party affiliation. But whatever they say, whatever they choose to say, is entirely up to them. I have many friends there. Let's hope that they don't feel too bad about it. But we're all Nigerians. There are many, many people. If you ask my friend and brother, Governor Matawale here, there are many people within the PDP who really do want to come over to the APC. I can tell you that. I was there and very instrumental when Governor Umahi, joined the APC. I was there and very instrumental when Governor Ayade did the same thing. I was there and very instrumental when my friend and brother, Governor Zamfara, Governor Matawale, did the same thing. And there are many, many others. Some of the most, remarkable men in this country are still within the ranks of the PDP. It's our job to try to win them over now. Somebody like, if you don't mind me mentioning names, somebody like the governor of Enugu State, the governor of Oyo State, and of course my good friend, the governor of Bauchi State, great friends of mine. And I sincerely hope that they too may end up coming in this direction. But whether they do or not, the most important thing is that we work together as a people, as a country, and move our country together and fight and kill the terrorists and put to shame the foreign elements, and I emphasize that word, foreign elements, that want us to end up fighting one another in this country and turning our country into a massive refugee camp.
What will you be telling those that will criticize you for criticizing APC in the past and now you're in the past?
I'll say that the only thing in life, the only constant thing in life is change. You can't hold me to what I've said in the past if circumstances change. And I will always bow to superior argument and logic. For me, the primary cause today, and let me say this, there's no way I will renege on my fundamental core values and principles. Anybody that knows me will tell you that. I believe in certain things, how the country should be moved forward. I will fight for that from within this party to ensure it's done. I believe in fairness and in equity. But the most important thing for us today is this. We must not allow our country to fall apart based on disagreement and misunderstanding amongst one another. I've recognized the fact that we're very close to war. A lot of people don't know this, and God forbid we should go into that. We should come together, build bridge. So if they criticize me for that, it's their right to do so. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I've made a choice. I believe I've been led by the Spirit of God, and I will fight the corner.
Hey. I kept quiet for so long. Please, leave God out of this thing, right? Leave God out of this thing, please. Let's because as I'm watching this, I am doing like this.
It's doing like this. It's doing like this.
I am beginning to do like this. By the way, I have lost some weight.
Are we likely to use a different approach in the fight against insecurity, especially kidnapping, which is a big issue now, sir?
No, I have just seen the IG. I think he is still losing weight. So I think he's working very hard.
I've lost weight. Even the way I look at things now working, to be honest with you, even the way I look at these things working. In fact, I cannot believe what was said in the past party takeover. Is it past party takeover?
You will be a past participant. Yeah. Hey! Ebu agomia. One day we go me. Say yesterday you are a past. So very soon you shall be past. Party. One day. Say tickle. One nana so you bane budi. On a meko.
So yesterday Femi was a past. 2013 Femi was also past. Today Femi Fani-Kayode FKK, you are nothing but a tickle. Femi, you are a tickle. Yesterday you were past. Tomorrow you were past. Today you are a tickle. Chai Oshomole. Adams Oshomole, I call you the Kaki, the Viagra mouth head, former APC chairman. the khaki-wearing NLC chairman. You are a prophet indeed.
Tony Ilwobe means I don't do bad. And in fact, once you have joined APC, all your sins are forgiven. Once you have joined APC, all your sins are forgiven. All your sins are forgiven. All your sins are forgiven.
So I don't know if is there any sin that ought to be forgiven here? I don't know. You tell me. Do we have any sin that should be forgiven? Is that the reason why the decamping is happening? You know, one thing I like doing here is that's one of the reasons I came late. Let's look at this thing very well. I want to go down the memory lane. I might take more time on Femi Fani-Kayode today. Let me go down to memory lane. Remember, there was a time this rumor came up that Femi Fani-Kayode was about decamping. Remember that. Remember, there was a time the governor of Kogi State actually came out to make statements saying that Femi has actually joined them. Did you remember that? Okay, let me go to Kogi State and I say, Kogi State Governor Rakase Taraba, come to this forum.
To mobilize, to sensitize, to educate, and woo
and to sanitize
Nigerians
and colonize
into the party, irrespective of their background. Our brother and friend, Chief Femi Fani-Kayode, has joined our party in good faith. For the youth. He is joining our party to come and add his own positive energy and make contribution into ensuring that APC is a party to beat. Remember, Chief Femi Fani-Kayode was a foundation member of this great party. Due to misunderstanding, he decided to port elsewhere before. Now he has decided to join our party, approached me, and by the mandate given to me by the party, I must not segregate. I must not discriminate.
You cannot segregate and discriminate, but you can aggregate, isn't it? All of them are gates. Suddenly, we will not go see that gate again.
Against any individual, even if he has a different opinion about the party before, about the government before, and he has seen the light, the reality, and the need to join the All Progressives Congress. It is just nice. It is just important. It is just smooth and very, very sweet to accommodate and welcome Chief Femi Fani-Kayode to come and join this party. Remember that this party does not belong to one individual. It belongs to all Nigerians. You are free to join if you feel otherwise and you cannot, understand what is happening before.
Anyway, the cocoa of the matter here was, pay attention once more here. That was a couple of months back when this happened that, obviously the governor of Kogi State came out to say, yes, he has joined our party. And Femi Fani-Kayode himself came out to denounce and say here the following, that he did not join the party. Now have a listen.
The fact that the national chairman and the whole of the National Working Committee, together with the chairman of the PDP Ministers Forum, our leader.
Oh, sorry, I don't know what's happening there, but let me try again. Here, once more. So there is a reason why many people will never be politicians. Honestly, there is a reason why many of us probably in our lifetime, until we die, we may never be politicians. Because looking at people's straight face, you know, and saying these things. Let me quickly see. Let me. Okay, so let me see. Well, let's play the audio. Actually, if the video, so for some reason doesn't want to show, but let's hear what he has to say.
PDP Ministers Forum, our leader, and all the stakeholders of this party who may not be here, but made appeals and asked them to come. And they came to my home to reach out to me and speak with me. And we had a very extensive and fruitful meeting. And I want to say here and now that whatever issues there may have been resolved. We're moving forward as one. I never left the PDP. I'm in the PDP, and I'm proud.
Did you hear that? That was when the previous video I played, when the governor of Kogi State came out to tell the public that FKK has joined APC months back. FKK made this video, or rather called this press conference, debunking that he hasn't joined.
Whatever the case might be, whatever's happening in this country, the most important thing for us to do is to build bridges across party lines, across regional, ethnic, and religious lines, in order to ensure that we actually have a country that we can call our own. But I'm delighted that they've come, and I'm touched in the very heart. And this is how it ought to be in any family, any political family. If anybody feels in any way estranged or in any way hurt, people are meant to reach out. And this is an example of the good quality leadership that the national chairman and his working committee have provided for this party. And I can assure you, I can say this to you right now, had it not been for this quality of leadership over the last few years and months, our party would have fallen apart. They have gone all over the country, reaching out to people, keeping us together, saving our party when our party was almost taken from us. And they came in and they've done a very, very good job. And I'm very proud of them. I'm proud of our national chairman, each and every one of the National Working Committee of Kola over there, and of course of my friend and brother, the chairman of our PDP Ministers Forum. So I'm here, I'm delighted to be here, and as they say, the struggle continues. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, so the struggles, as they say, the struggle continues. Now, let me, before I go back to analyze the second part of this, let me play us some very key important thing he said this evening on a one-on-one, or rather, as he appeared on Sheung Okinbaloye's Politics Today at the Channels TV just about an hour ago, 45 minutes ago. Let me quickly play us this. I will do something just to have an extract as where he is given the reason, the real reason why he left. Then I will now show us again where he also countered himself in the old videos. Obviously, let's listen to Sheung this evening.
Governors of the southern region have again met. This time,
oh, sorry, I'm not
this
not this one. So I'm not interested in that one.
Pages of unity and peace.
Oh,
some months ago, like a rumor, Fani-Kayode, who has now rejoined the All Progressives Congress APC and who was on a visit to President Muhammadu Buhari, whom he had criticized heavily in the past. Mr. Fani-Kayode says is responsible for some of the defections, especially of some of the governors of the PDP who decamped from the PDP to the APC. He made this declaration today at the State House in Abuja after it was presented to President Buhari as the newest member of the APC. Mr. Femi Fani-Kayode joins us now from our Abuja studio. Thank you, Chief Fani-Kayode, for joining us tonight on the program. I appreciate it. Let's begin the conversation. It comes to a lot of Nigerians as a surprise that it was some months ago like a rumor, but now it's a real story. That is no longer a rumor. It's real that you have joined the APC. And one will wonder that you met with the president today, one man that you heavily criticized. You called him some names. You brought up some rhetorics that became much more like led the conversation in the last election when you were the director of media for the PDP. And this is the same man that you have met today. What exactly changed from then and now?
Thank you very much, Shehu, for having me on your program. And to God be the glory and blessed be his holy name.
See, that is where I have problem already. It is your freaking decision, my good friend. It is your freaking effing decision. Leave the creator out of this. The decision is yours and only yours. Not using, reference to God, making him, please, cut the check.
Well, a lot has changed over the last 6 years. It is important that we make the right choices and the right decisions at the right time. Precisely if we feel as if we are being led by God to make those choices. I make my choices. I owe nobody any explanation or apology other than my family members and other than my God. And I know that I'm doing the right thing. The most important thing for me, and I think some will appreciate this, is that there is no point in having any principle without power. You must have power in order to ensure that whatever principles you enunciate, you can effect them. Without that, you will simply be talking and nothing will change. I've discovered over the last few months that I can work very closely with people within the APC and elements within the government to effect a change. And we've done quite a lot of that over the last few months without me even joining the party. And it has been very effective. I've collaborated with many people.
Exactly. So if you are able to collaborate and do these things that you said now that you're able to do without joining the party, the question then is, okay,
within the party, many of the governors in the party, and I will continue to collaborate with them, even some outside the party.
Well, before I continue, people, if this is the first time of seeing my face, please click the like button, subscribe. Let's do something this evening because this is a very intensive analysis that I'm going to do, going back to the archive, bringing it to what he said this evening, comparing it to the videos that made people follow him. Many people before now have been saying word of caution. Said, no. Someone made a comment this evening and said that one of the reasons why Iboho is in not jail, not prison, but at least is in custody in the Benin Republic is because of people like him who somehow injured him, pushed him, and the Boho was doing whatever he was doing until now he has joined the party. So is he going to now try to get the Boho out through that now that he is closer to power? Why was it that a man, I will play us most of these videos, someone who said so much things, anyway, let me leave that because I'm going to come to that now. So please do me a favor, like this video, pause for a moment, share this. I want so many people to watch this video. Let's make this particular one go viral. If you want, you can also use the super chat. For this evening is an intensive, when I say an intensive, it's an intensive analysis that I'm going to be delivering this evening based on this video, based on other information that I do have in the archives that I have gone in and brought, and that is going to be used for this analysis. Please subscribe.
But the most important thing for me right now is this. This country, in my view, is on the brink of war. It's on the brink of disintegration. And we have to join forces, all come together, set our differences aside, and ensure that we build bridges of unity and peace, and ensure that we pull ourselves back from the brink and fight those, mainly from outside this country, that want to destroy our country by dividing us on regional, ethnic, religious, and political party lines. We must build that bridge. We must work together, and we must effect a positive change in our country and move this country in the right direction. And that's part of the reasons that I decided to make this decision today.
Okay. So we can see that
Thank you for coming, Internet.
That
we need
is
to talk.
part
I try and
of
log
the
into the Wi-Fi,
reason
and
that he
suddenly
has
my
said
address, my
he
credit cards, my
joined
bank account, it's all out there.
It's
the
time to
party.
reset your relationship with the Internet.
Oh,
Avast helps you
okay,
take
hold on.
control of your safety.
So according to him now, that's the part of the reason why he said he was, obviously he joined. Now, let me go back because there was an advert there playing.
Real issues confronting this nation. First and foremost, you've accused President Buhari on issues relating to ethnicity, on issues relating to region and all of that. Several things that you said about him. Has he changed? How those things still remain the same?
Sheung, I owe you one bottle of Odeku. You can make a choice. Either you take Henneken or I give you Ompa for this question, because this question deserves an award. Now, all the things you said about President Muhammadu Buhari, were you lying to Nigerians, or were they actually true? If they were, what has changed?
Well, that's an interesting point you've made. And yes, I have done that in the past and done it effectively when I felt it was appropriate so to do. However, having moved closer to him over the last few months, I've discovered a lot of things that I didn't know before. There's a lot going on behind the scenes.
Okokobioko, did you hear that? Now, he said, having moved closer to President Muhammadu Buhari. This one, they scratched me. You know why this one, they scratched me? Having moved closer to President Muhammadu Buhari, this is what Fani-Kayode said. Okay, Fani-Kayode, let me go back to 2013, 2014, when you formed APC and you had the following to say. Does it mean that when you were saying this, Femi, you didn't know President Muhammadu Buhari? Let me bring you here. I paused the other one. I want to bring this one. Now, listen to this. I want to leave the analysis he was giving to Sheung a couple of minutes ago, about 30 minutes or 1 hour ago. I want to go back to the archive and say, this is an interview he granted to Nige, and where he said one of the reasons that made him leave the APC is because what he discovered and what Buhari told him. Now, this is not a second person reportage. This is not that I was told. When you say Mazezoke spoke to you in my bedroom, in the other room, my brothers, my sisters, it means a lot. Let's listen. Because, again, no hard feelings. Part of my job is to dissect and distill content. That's why it's called content analysis. Let's go.
We interacted 3-4 times. We'll go and meet him. He had a house somewhere else, not here. He lives just around the corner from here now. But he had a house elsewhere. We went there. So, but as time went by, he now started sending for me. So I went there with Nasir. Then one day they called and said he wanted to see me. I said, okay, I'll go. I met him at the transform. When I got there, he said we should go inside the bedroom.
Did you hear that? Who can come to my house that I will have the confidence to take you inside my bedroom, inside the other room? The other room. Something now is making me, I think I'm going to be, I don't know. Should I be happiness more? Should I? But again, before he continues, listen to
some of the stance that you had is giving you this kind of trouble that you're seeing today. Is in crisis right now.
Yeah.
Are you sticking with the party?
But of course, the PDP is my party. I will never leave the party.
You're never considering going back to the APC?
I would never. The APC, absolutely out of the question. Until kingdom comes, until Jesus returns, that will never happen.
But you left the PDP for the APC.
Well, we've discussed that on many, many occasions. I've told you my reasons for doing that at that time. I was not happy with it.
So those of you who are Christians, he said, until Jesus comes, he will not leave the PDP to the APC. Go get your book, go to your Revelation chapter F verses K, read it down to K. It means Jesus is knocking at the gate. Jesus is already here, already. Because if thy kingdom come, now thy kingdom is here. Look at what Femi said that Buhari brought him inside his bedroom and said the following to him.
He sat in the bedroom talking. He started talking. He said, he wants to, I know his aspiration, but he has a challenge with trusting people in view of what has happened to him in the past. But that he just wants me to know that he will want me to work closely with him if he manages to win the nomination for his party, and that he likes me, I'm courageous. The Obasanjo said a lot to him about me, that once I'm on board, I will fight all the way, and he loves that. Anyway, to cut a long story short, let me tell you why I'm telling you this story. We started talking about the history and about the Igbos. You know what this man said to me? He said, they killed our leaders in the middle of the night, and we can never forget it. That it's a cultural problem. You can't trust them. When he was talking about trust, that's where it came up. I said, sir, they killed not just northern leaders. They killed leaders from every zone. Southwest, where I come from, the Niger, the South, everywhere. Every zone. Not just the north. Not just the north. And he said, no. He said, but we remember. We will never forget. We will never forget. And we cannot trust them. He said, it's a cultural problem. When he said this, it's sunk in. I had never seen that level of racism in any... I've been trying to qualify.
Oh, hold on. Did you hear that? He has never seen that level of racism. What Buhari told him in his room, in his inner chambers, in the other room, the room that he shares with the Amaria, where Buhari is a go inside. They do something for, they do a quack for inside the inner chambers. He took you there, told you the following things, that the Igbos, I kill my Gangaleani, the Igbos. Therefore, he is racist. He told you, Oga, has Buhari changed? Can you tell us?
Few leaders. I've never seen that. This was deep-seated hatred.
Deep-seated hatred against who? In your words, against Ndibo. Again, I ask again, has this deep-seated hatred changed?
For a whole nation of people. And I left that room thinking to myself, these people have to be stopped.
Okay, you left Buhari's bedroom saying that this Buhari and the APC has to be stopped.
Because if they're not stopped, if they have power, what they will do, first they will deal with the Igbos, then they will come and deal with us.
Okay, first they will deal with the Igbos, then before they will come and deal with the Yorubas and every other person. This is what you think from what Buhari told you in his bedroom. This is what you understood. Capiche?
They will deal with everybody.
Okay.
And it's one of the main reasons, apart from the issue of Muslim ticket. That's what I said no. Not only will I leave them, I will also expose them and fight them.
Okay. You now left them. You came out to expose them. In exposing them, you joined them. Now I think I'm confused. Can somebody remind me my name again? I think I've forgotten. Nah, it's not possible. I think somebody probably has given me $2 million super chat now that I don't even remember my name because I'm confused. See, somebody is online. I'm just Mutani Nigeria Basha. It's confusing now. This one is confusing me. It's confusing me. It's confusing
Some of the stance that you had is giving you this kind of trouble that you're seeing today. Is in crisis right now.
Yes.
Are you sticking with the party?
But of course, the PDP is my party. I will never leave the party.
You never.
The PDP is my party. It's not going to leave the party. You know the way they feel now. I am beginning to feel like Governor Autumn. Because if you go for the other room, something, if you don't climb somewhere, they stand it up. Everything they go down. The Magani, Borantasi, they work. Viagra. You know the work. You think he eat a lie?
Even when I'm on top of my wife and I remember the people who are in that DP camp.
You go flat.
You know, IDP camp, you know what it means? Internally displaced politicians. So Autumn is a master planner. He says if he there for the other room where Femi is coming out, where he was with the Buhari, and something happens, something does not stand up. Kai Mutani Nigeria. Femi, finish. I will leave us here. Femi has told us a story. Now let us go back to his reason. Please pay attention. Compare. It will make no sense to spend this time doing this content analysis if you guys are not following. Compare what he said now, because he was given an example of why he left in 2014 when the APC, after registering, and he gave these reasons that this were the reasons why he left. Once more, if you're just joining me, I'm still Mazes. Okay, this evening I'm just trying to analyze, why Femi Fani-Kayode, former Minister of Aviation, who left the PDP to the APC today. If you are not aware, he just left and he has declared that he has gone in there to work in order to restore Nigeria. I don't know whether Nigeria was turned off before, need restoration. Well, honestly, I don't know. But let me go back to Shehu Okimbaloye and bring him back to continue and to explain himself. Let's listen to him more.
The most important thing is this: if I believe in a certain philosophy, or I believe that we should move in a certain direction, and I'm getting positive responses from, when I act from within the family, as it were, and do so behind closed doors, and ensure that change is effected in terms of policy, in terms of the way in which the country is run, in terms of the way in which disputes are settled amongst our various people, and in terms of the war against terror, and I get positive results as a consequence of my personal contributions at various levels, then of course I have to respect that. And I have to begin to think that, look, is it not better for us, for me and for my country, to ensure that we operate from within and effect the changes we want to change, that we want to put in place, rather than for us to be throwing bricks from outside? And I have ample evidence of the fact that because of these contributions and the receptive ears of a man that I believe would not listen to anybody else in the past, and I was quite wrong on that, his receptive ears, his reception, and those around him, particularly some of the governors, we've worked closely together. And I have seen that definitely this is a man that one can work with, providing you go through the right channels. And that's what I've been doing. It's been very effective. And I believe that I will continue to do that. And, we made a declaration today. The president was gracious enough to receive me very, very warmly. But the next few days will make, the formal steps. I'll be joining the party. I will be joining in FCT Abuja, not in the Southwest. I'll, become a formal party member, and then we'll do a reception, and I'll be able to say far more, many more things than I've said today. But this is the first step on a long road, and by God's grace, we will ensure that our country, pulls back from division, pulls back from war, and pulls back from throwing bricks at one another, which is what some people want us to continue to do, which I will not do anymore.
So actually, what you were doing before, that many people thought you were doing the right thing, was actually you went to the quarries and you brought bricks. You were just throwing the bricks. Was that what you were trying to do before? You see, people, there is a, how do I put this without offending anybody? There is need for us to actually be very careful what politicians say and how serious you take what they say. I repeat, there is need for us to listen carefully, digest what politicians say, be careful how serious you take them. Imagine if you had taken what Femi Fani-Kayode was saying, or Chief Femi Fani-Kayode was saying before now, too serious. Imagine you've been doing that, and this then happens. Where are you You are just left nowhere near the bus stop. Suddenly he's telling you he's come close to Buhari. When he was in Buhari's, when he was in Buhari's bedroom, he didn't know that Buhari, he didn't know Buhari, by the way, and he came out and said those things he said about Buhari, now insinuating that actually he was throwing bricks on the way. Now he no longer wants to throw those bricks. Are you guys getting it?
I mean, the question I was asking, Mr. Fani-Kayode, is whether or not some of those things you said at those times still.
Wow, thank you very much again, Sheung, for this second question that is coming now. I owe you 2 bottles of Ompa. You know, that's the one we have. I can, in fact, I've withdrawn my Odeku, and I've also withdrawn my Henneken. Now, it's Ompa. In fact, 1 carton of Ompa, because there are 2 or more questions that you're going to throw at him. You, by the way, I will say thank you very much, Papo Bin Nonye. Thank you for the super chat. You know, you throw your super chat, you get you know, your comments shown, and it says this guy, you're not serious. Person where they jump from church to church, or a shower man or woman. Please, he's an elder statesman and the former minister, so be very careful the type of language you use on him. I think we keep the super chat coming, guys. I think, did we have another super chat? Hold on, what's happening, people? Oh, okay, sorry, that's Papo Bin on your dot. Okay, so now, but when you look at these things, you just keep wondering, should we stop taking politicians? Should we stop taking them serious at all? Or should, I mean, because this doesn't make sense.
Or you overlook them? As the person you described, 2019, 2018, is it the same man? What has changed?
Well, let me put it to you like this. I answered the question by telling you very clearly that I was speaking about him from outside.
Hey, he was speaking about Buhari from the outside. Hold on, no. Okay, let me go back to that video before. Sorry, no verse. No. Let me start again.
So I went there with Nasser. Then one day they called and said he wanted to see me. I said, okay, I will go. I met him at the transfer. And I got there. He said we should go inside the bedroom.
Now, a man who brought you, because that's what I want to play this part. A man who brought you inside his bedroom does not know you. So you were speaking about him, haven't gone inside his bedroom, his inner chambers, haven't gone in his Zaza room. You come out and you're speaking about that man without knowing that man with so much. Okay. Did you hear that? If you didn't hear about the inner chambers, I played that again.
I said he wanted to see me. I said, okay, I will go. I met him at the transfer. And I got there. He said we should go inside the bedroom. He sat in the bedroom talking. He started talking. He said, you know.
So now you started talking to him. This is a man, only you and him in the bedroom. That means you should have known him enough. But that is, by the way. So let us come back again and see how you would answer the question posed to you if all the things you said about him before now you didn't know. Okay, let's hear your
I have
answer.
got to know him from inside now. I've been working closely over the last few months with people that are very, very close to him. And they would not have done that had it not been for the fact that he asked them or allowed them to do so. We've come to get to know one another. And it's absolutely clear to me that the perception that we had in the past, many people had, many still have, is clearly wrong. We can work together. We can come together. We can build bridges. We can effect unity in this country. And let me give you one example of that. In the past, we said that elements in the core north have refused to fight terrorism. We all accused them of this. In fact, we went as far as to say that elements in the core north were supporting the terrorists and they were killing our people and their own people. Well, look at what's happening in the core north today.
So does that mean this part of that statement, Oga, does that mean that this part of that statement was wrong? Or was that mean that it was a lie? Because to some point, at some point, many of us would just basically get confused. are you saying that this particular statement that you've just made now, that is incorrect? Because somehow I am beginning to be a little bit dizzy.
Our economic is doing like this. It's doing like this.
I'm now doing like Nigeria economy, to be honest with you. Or should, okay, maybe, yeah. Now I understand.
When my 7-year-old grandson called me and said, Grandpa, tell me the truth. Why did they call you Liar Mohammed?
Oh, not by any stretch of the imagination am I insinuating or calling you a liar. But all I'm saying is that the things I'm hearing now, I'm feeling a little bit dizzy.
You have a far more vigorous fight in the core north against the insurgents and the terrorists from the North core northern governors than anywhere else in the country. And that is something that ought to be commended. They couldn't have done that without the backing of Mr. President. Hundreds and hundreds of terrorists and bandits are being slaughtered in the core north today as a consequence of that policy. That's just one example. Another example is this. We had a situation a few months back, and I was involved in it, I've told you on this program before, where there was a food embargo on the south, and where there was a plan by elements in the north to slaughter southerners as a reprisal for what happened during the riots in Ibadan and during the riots in Lagos. And there was a clearly well-orchestrated plan. Well, we all came together. We didn't go to the media. We didn't shout. We didn't insult one another. We came together with a number of other people, players from all over the country, and we resolved the issue. And the issue was resolved in an amicable way. Nobody was killed, no reprisal killings in the south, the food embargo was lifted, and Nigeria moved on. Now, that is the way to operate, as far as I'm concerned. There is a time to shout and scream and fight and criticize.
Every southern Nigerian, I will stand up and I say, clap for Femi Fani-Kayode. He has said it here. He is the reason why the onion embargo, at least you still have onion with which you can cook your food, because the northerners haven't banned the onion coming down south because of Femi Fani-Kayode. He has done well. He has lifted the food embargo. The yam that was not meant to be coming down he lifted it. Again, it become impossible. The only one we want you to ban, that is the cows from coming down south with leg, appears impossible. Haba.
Size and condemn. There's a place for that in democracy. There's also a time for us to keep our cool, work purposely and constructively together to ensure we come to a good and expected end for our people and for our nation. And that's where I am today. I have not changed in terms of my core values and my principles. I will never change in terms of my core values and my principles. And I will carry those core values and principles into the APC and fight my corner any day, anytime. But one thing I'll tell you is this: we need to respect other people's views. We need to work together with other people, even those we disagree with, and we need to ensure that this country remains one. And that's what I intend to do. And I
agree. I begrudge you not. But again, you said we need to respect other people's view. I'm respecting your view. Therefore, that's the view, because obviously I take you serious, so serious, that when you say something, I know you are a man of impeccable integrity, that you're going to stick with it. But that's why, but somehow I'm a little bit confused why you didn't stick to
some of the stance that you had is giving you this kind of trouble that you're seeing today. Is in crisis right now. Yeah. Are you sticking with the party?
But of course, the PDP is my party. I will never leave the party.
You're never considering going back to the APC?
I would never. The APC, absolutely out of the question. Until kingdom comes, until Jesus returns, that will never happen.
Okay, like I said before, Jesus is about returning because he has, this is what is written in the book of Revelation, chapter Femi. Is Femi in the Bible? Oh, sorry. Shut up. It's written in the book of Revelation. Don't ask me which chapter and which verse.
I owe nobody an apology for that.
So let's get it clear. So the things that you said in the past are not true. You've seen it clearly. Is it because I know you're a Bible student?
No.
Is it a case of once you were blind, now you can see? Is that the kind of situation?
No, listen to me.
He's never blind. Shehu, you threw this one. This one is a little bit below the belt. But anyway, let's continue. Because I keep saying it. There is nobody that wears glasses that is normal. Everybody that wears glasses, somehow the eye is not good, is kaput.
Listen to me very carefully. I told you, and if you go back, play this again, you will hear it over and over again. Listen to me very carefully. I told you that it's a question of perception. I had never met I'd met him once or twice in 2013. I'd never worked with him ever before in my life. We were not close. We were in different parties, and we were fighting a war. We were fighting a political war in 2015.
You see, they were fighting a political war. There was no missile, there was no ammunition, there was no AK-47, 48, 49, 50. But Nigerians, they sold you something. You Mumoishli, Charlie boy, where are you? Odudubareba, our Mumuna follow come. Suddenly, these wars were being fought, and many of you didn't know that these were wars, and you believed them.
I'd add that over the last few years after that, I spoke against him probably more than anybody else in this country. However, when it became clear to me that it is not as we thought it was, it's just not as simple as that, and that our country is in a situation of war right now. We are in the middle of a war, and many people want to divide our country. So what do? We retrace our steps, we stop and think, and we say, look, let us work together with those we may have been opposed to in the past, but we believe we can build bridges.
We are building bridges. Second Niger bridge is still yet to be completed. It's fine. But what are we going to do? Literally, please, if you're just joining me this evening, I'm still Mazes, okay? Please do me a favor, subscribe and like this video. I want this video. I want so many people to watch this video. Honestly, I want so many people to watch it. And the only way so many people can watch it is because YouTube is suppressing, views. I want you to share it. Just one moment. Click on the like button. Make it turn blue. We are close to 800 people watching across various social media platforms. Now, when I look at how many likes we have here, we have only 23. Come on, people. People, the like is for me, not for FKK, please. The like is for me, for the job I'm doing, because I know many of you, maybe the reason why you're not liking it is because you think if you hit the like, it will go get into FKK's pocket or page. No, hit the like button is getting to me, not FKK. But again, let's continue and quickly run this down before we go down to other matters. Serious matters are rising as to regarding the comments made by Femi Gbajabiamila and also the Southern Governors today meeting, what they said. These are the analysis that I'm still going to give you this evening. It's going to be a packed, and it's still a packed evening today. Just do me that favor, like and share. That's the only two things you can do for me. Thank you very much. And being part of this program, I am still Mazi. As okay. We must continue.
And move the country forward together. I'm not saying Mr. President is an angel, and I'm certainly not saying he's a demon. I'm saying that he's a man like any other man, but I've come to realize that we can work together. And I've come to realize that he's open, he's magnanimous, he's somebody that has opened his doors to us, and he's welcoming everybody from the other party and from the opposition into this party. And he's not telling anybody, oh, don't say this, don't say that. As long as I'm guaranteed that I can work with him, I can work with anybody in order to ensure that Nigeria survives. Today's major issue is not what you or I think of President Buhari, or what you think of me, or what I think of you. Today's major issue is the survival of our country as one nation, and to ensure that we keep Nigeria one, and we ensure that we treat those that have been maligned or treated badly in the past, I'm talking about various ethnic groups and people that feel marginalized, with sensitivity and compassion and understanding. If you want to do that, then you have to work with everybody. So when you ask me questions like this, I'll put this to you. In the past, other people have defected from one side to the other. Virtually every major political player has done that. Does that then mean they disavow everything they've said in the past? Not necessarily. Maybe, maybe not. But these things...
Yeah, hold on. But not everyone was so vivacious. Not everyone was so vocal. But people, let me also give us one thing. There is something also cooking. Many of you might even have heart attack if I tell you now. There is something cooking. By virtue of Fani-Kayode decamping, there is something cooking in the horizon. It's sad that Nigeria would eventually end up a one-party system. That is bad omen for democracy. But again, when politics become politics of the rest, you can fill in the gap. Don't hold me responsible. But I can tell you free of charge now, by the virtue of Femi-Kayode decamping, there is one man from southern Nigeria who is likely to decamp very soon, and all in the verge of 2023 election. You may take your guess in the comment section. Towards the end, I will review that person to you.
Things are a question of time. We agree one day, we may disagree the following day. We may agree today, we may disagree tomorrow. And that's the position that I have taken. Right now, we're in agreement, we're working together, and I'm proud to be where I am today. And I know this is the way forward. I know I can get far more done this way for my people and for my country. And I have no regrets for doing that. In fact, I'm very proud of the fact that I can do this, despite what people might think or say.
So everyone, people are saying, I mean, I would, sorry. So I will bring him back again. Now, what many of us are saying is that he has decamped so that he can work for two of his friends in detention. One of them, Nnamdi Kanu and Iboho. That's, most of your comments are saying that maybe that is the reason why he decamped. Who knows? So maybe now he can go back to that bedroom that he spent time with Buhari, and maybe he can now begin to whisper in his left ear, not the right one. Which one? Yeah, this one. He can whisper on the left ear, because I think the right one is facing London. That one doesn't work. Maybe if he stands like this one goes to London. This one is in the side of Castina. Maybe the left one can work. If he decides to do the needful. Now, the next question is also funny. Not only that it's, well, let me not say it's funny, but the next question is also on point. That's the reason why Sean will get a crate of umpa from me.
And perhaps there's a reason why a lot of people seem to love it when you're explaining yourself and your philosophy. And perhaps the reason why you have to take up some of the things that you have said. One of the things that you said in the past, in 2019, for example, your words, in your own words, you said, I would rather die than join the APC.
He said he would rather die. Why? Why die? You rather die than join the APC.
In December 15, 2019, you said, and I quote, I'm committed to opposing the APC and those that are in the ranks for the rest of my natural life. And I will never join them no matter what. End of quote. In fact, for those talking about your defection at that time, you told them, you said it was false and insulting.
Good. Can I answer the question now? Have
Absolutely.
you finished the nice quotes?
Absolutely.
But
Thank you very much. Let me put this to you. A lot has happened in the APC itself over the last few years. Would you agree with me? You are a political commentator. You know what has happened in the APC. You know what has happened in the PDP. I will talk about the PDP on this program until they throw a brick at me, then I will respond.
Ooh.
Let's not talk about APC. The APC I was speaking about at that time is not the APC of today. The APC of that time, and I'll say it any day, anywhere, the APC of that time did not have the leadership that they have today. Today you have a man who is the national caretaker.
Nigerian people will ever vote for a man that believes that we should drag this country back. A man with a pitiful...
Okay. He said the APC of before. I'll go back again on the same channels with the same man asking him the same question. And I will say, let us listen to what he said before. Again, I say when I say I come loaded from all the archive. I went into my terabyte of storage and I began to pull in these because I have those here on every one of, including myself.
I don't believe that the Nigerian people will ever vote for a man that believes that we should drag this country back. A man with a pitiful and disgraceful record.
So what happened to Buhari's pitiful and disgraceful record?
He was in power, he locked people up, he created people, he killed.
Oh, he locked people up, he created people, he renditioned people. Exactly the same thing Femi is saying now is what Buhari did in June when he renditioned Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, took him from Kenya illegally, like you did to Marudiko, and brought him in. So, Femi, I am kind of lost with words as to knowing all these things you said, and I don't even know what to say again.
People with retroactive legislation. He carried people on the streets of London illegally, turned Nigeria into a pirate nation, a man that looted PTF, and I say that because the report...
Woo! A man that looted PTF. Tell me, who is the Minister of Petroleum, actually? Why are we... I forgot. I'm getting old. I don't even know who the Minister of Petroleum is, but something is not working in the
I was in government when the Haruna Adamu report was filed. I discussed with President Obasanjo at the time. I know what the president told myself and Aki Oshutoku privately. If not for the fact that the main person in that report, that is a man by Siraju and in-law Buhari, dropped dead the day that we decided to prosecute Buhari for it, that man would have been the key prosecution witness and Buhari would have been in jail by now. The truth of the matter is that he was very corrupt, and that Siraju report, the PTF report, absolutely indicted him. A man that when he, I will finish, a man that when he was Minister of Oil in I believe it was in 1987 or thereabouts, and President Obasanjo was the head of state at the time. It was 1977 or thereabouts. 2.8 billion naira went missing under his watch. That's the equivalent of 3 billion naira today. A man that committed so many atrocities. Let me tell you something that he did that a lot of people don't remember. This is a man that converted all the currency that we had at that time and told everybody to convert their currency within 1 week, forgetting the fact that most northerners at the time dealt in cash, and most of them kept those the cash in their homes. They lost everything overnight simply because of Buhari's way. A man that sent so many people to jail for hundreds of years without due process, without any credible evidence. A man
what about the tribunal that was set up?
Listen to me. No lawyer attended the... let me remind you.
There were reports of the tribunal.
You may be too young to know this.
No. If I was young...
he took a jab here. He took a jab on Sheung. So saying that Sheung is a baby now.
I mean, you were not alive when Julius Caesar was alive, but you know he lived. So that's not a fair. No. Let me put this to you. Sure, you know, there were tribunals, but what I'm putting to you is that the only people that attended those tribunals were the judges or military administrators that were appointed by the government and the late Gani Fawemi. The rest of the legal world boycotted those tribunals because there was no due process. There were no laws administered there. It was just a kangaroo court. There were many people that had been found innocent by the ordinary courts that he now insisted must be jailed at all costs. And this man destroyed the lives of so many people, including the lives of serving governors who were locked up, who after their release died a few months later. Bisi Onabanjo, Adamu Ata, so many of them. Adamu Ata lived for quite some time, but he was never the same person again. So many of them. Ambrose Ali and so many. This is what Buhari did. This is what he stands for. Unfortunately, most people that were 10 years old when Obasanjo came into power in 1999 have no recollection of his. We don't teach history in this country. So people have forgotten who Buhari was and what he stands for. Now,
okay, so that's what he thinks Buhari or who Buhari was, and that's what he thinks that this is what Buhari stands for. Therefore, now I want him to, having said all this, what is the explanation?
Who has done exceptionally well in attracting people and presenting a broad-based, liberal, pluralistic view on national issues and national affairs. And he has opened the doors of the party to all manner of people with a plurality of views. We may not agree on everything, but certainly there's a place for you in a wider family. And you can effect your purpose and fight your corner from within. And that is the difference between that time and this time. The old leadership of the APC was very, very different in its outlook, and I would never have joined them had the leadership not changed. What we have today is an accommodating party that is ready to take people on and is ready to listen to dissenting opinions, even from within, providing you conduct yourself in a mature and a decent manner. And that's what we've been doing. I've worked closely with Mebuni, I've worked with Matawale, I've worked with Governor of Kogi State, I've worked with Zulum, I've worked with a number of others, even the Governor of Plateau State. We've been collaborating over a period of time. Senator Grace Bent and so many others. And I'm telling you,
President Muhammadu Buhari, people have complained that there's this lopsided appointment.
Now, he's saying about all these things, all these people he mentioned, none of them was born yesterday. These were people who were in APC when he left. But again, I bring another one, which is a Zoom conversation that he joined AIT, and the following was said. Again, I tell you people, this evening I come loaded, pregnant with facts and figures. I'm not going to indict anyone. I'm not going to say anything. All I'm just doing is do the content analysis. You make up your mind.
At the 5 years of President Muhammadu Buhari, people have complained that there's this lopsided appointment, and the presidency and its supporters have all come out to even release statements saying that there's nothing like lopsidedness in the appointments made by President Muhammadu Buhari, that so far the president has been very fair. Do you think there is, well, if I ask you if you think there is lopsided appointment, I'll be asking a statement a lot of person knows that what you will say. But let's take a look at appointment in the last 5 years. Is it anything to go by?
You know, let me start by answer this question by saying this. The Nazis that surrounded Hitler and Adolf Hitler when he was in power, anything and everything he did was commended and defended and justified and rationalized by not only himself but all those around him. Even when he was gassing 6 million Jews, gypsies and homosexuals and Slavs and blacks in the gas chambers, they rationalized and they defended it. But facts are sacred, opinion is cheap. And the facts are self-evident and clear for everybody to see. It's not my opinion, these are facts. And let's look at those facts.
I would say, God bless you by saying that facts are sacred. Now, we want you to lay those facts, quote unquote, in your own words. These are not mine. Please, can you lay these facts before we go back again in your today's defense?
We talk about lopsidedness or non-lopsidedness. In the first time in our history, in a multiracial, multicultural, multi-religious country, you have a situation whereby every single security agency, and there are 17 of them, every single one of them, except for the Navy, is headed by a northern Muslim.
Femi, has this changed with the exception of Irabo? Has this changed? If you still know this, I ask again, has this changed?
Now, somebody was on your program yesterday and tried to argue that the position of Chief of Defense Staff was held by a Christian from the South, and that counted for something. It doesn't count for anything. It's an administrative position. We're talking about operational command. We're talking about those that control the troops on the ground. We're talking about those that have command over men in the field. Every single one of them in this country, except for the Navy, is in the hands of a northern Muslim. That is unacceptable. It is even dangerous. It doesn't end there. You go to the oil sector. We have the president himself, who is the substantive minister of oil.
Oh, minister of oil or minister of petroleum. Okay. Petrol, they rob, Buhari, they rob engine oil for body. Why they call him minister of oil?
Then you now have the GMD of NNPC, which is the goose that lays the golden egg. He's a northern Muslim. Both substantive minister, GMD, northern Muslims, and every single subsidiary and sensitive managerial position in NNPC is also headed by a northern.
I ask again, has these positions changed?
Muslim. This is unacceptable. That's the executive, and I could go on more and more about the executive. Virtually every key position in this government has been manned by a northern Muslim. Now, it doesn't stop there, unfortunately. It gets worse.
I know it's getting worse. I ask again, has these positions changed?
If you go to the legislature, you have a situation whereby for the first time in our history, the legislature again is also not just the executive, but the legislature as well is.
Yeah, we know those are the rubber stampers, but has it changed?
As well, is headed by a northern Muslim. The president of the Senate is a northern Muslim. You go to the federal house, we have a very good man there, a good friend of mine. I've known him for 40 years. He's a southerner, thankfully, and he's doing very well. He's of the Muslim faith, neither here nor there, but at least he's there. Now, you also go outside of the legislature, you go to the judiciary. For the first time in our history again, you have the executive led by a northern Muslim, all the key positions held by northern Muslims, the legislature
led by a Northern Muslim, National Assembly. You go to the judiciary, again, Supreme Court headed by a Northern Muslim. You now have a Court of Appeal. It was headed by a Northern Muslim. Now you have a Christian that ought to have been confirmed. They refused to confirm him. Let's hope that she will be confirmed. We're all hoping for that. Up until recently, you also had the President of the Federal High Court was also a Northern Muslim. Thankfully, that has changed now. Now, if you look at all this, you have a situation whereby it's clear that there has been a preponderance of appointments to the North and to Muslims by the Buhari administration. There's nothing wrong with having Northerners and Muslims in many places. But the truth of the matter is that in a country like this, we have always practiced the principle of federal character, balancing, and sensitivity. We've always carried other regions along.
Okay, enough, please. My left ear is also hurting. So let's quickly round up this one.
Views here, but we all agree on one thing, that people should be treated fairly and decently, regardless of where you come from in this country, regardless of your religious faith. We believe passionately in that. And we must not continue the narrative that we had in the past, that, you know, we must divide one another and fight one another on religious or ethnic grounds. And that's the new me. And I am very, very proud of that. But the party has changed. Not me, the party has changed. And the president has been
FEC is changed. Music to my ear. This is our Antilla and Willow combined to my ears. I didn't know that.
Of that change, which is very gracious of him.
Buhari has also changed. Wow.
And that is why I am where I am today, and I'm very proud to be here. It doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter what people say. If I give you quotes of what others have said over the years about one another that are now together, you will be shocked. I have a whole list of them. But let's not focus too much on what you think of what FFK has done or thought. Let's focus on our country, unity, peace, and building the bridges that we need to build to ensure that we don't turn against one another as a people and end up having a civil war. I'm committed to fighting that. I'm committed to fighting the terrorists. I'm committed to standing by this government as long as they continue to fight the terrorists and kill them morning, day, and night. And what's happening in South?
Why? You see, this commitment you talk, committing to fight terror. Are you a soldier? Are you the chief of army staff? Are you the... So what is even your input? Sorry, but let's get to the nitty-gritty for Christ's sake. What is even your input in the fight against terrorism? What are you going to do? You are not an army officer. You are not an ex-general. You are not you are not... Come on. You're not talking to kids. Cut the chase, for Christ's sake.
You know, it gives me immense joy to hear that they're being slaughtered like flies. I like that very much. And that's one of the reasons I joined today.
All right. There is a vehemence in what you say, in the use of language, and perhaps the time when you say you'd rather die than join the APC. Do you think maybe you went too far?
No, let me tell this, Michelle. Again, it's not a question of use of language. It's a question of commitment. It's a question of understanding, and it's a question of accepting the fact that people base their decisions on conviction and not any form of opportunism. That's certainly me. If I wanted to be opportunistic, I would have done this long ago. I will never surrender my principles or my core values. But let me put this to you. I'll repeat what I said earlier. It is the party that has changed, the leadership of the party, the quality of the party, the accommodating nature of the party, and the people within the party. The APC of today is a liberal party. It is not a hardline conservative party. It is accommodating. It is a party that's prepared to take people that do not share the views with others, but are prepared to find their corner from within. And that's how any political party ought to be. That's how I perceive it. I didn't just perceive it. I've worked with these people, and I've built bridges with them, and I'm very proud to be here. I will not speak about the other side. I won't say anything about the PDP that's negative. I have friends in the PDP, but let me put...
I beg, make her laugh and then Soka. He's committed in building bridge. You know, Julius Berger, bridge builder. You see, listen to the names. This is WAEC question. So those are probably the ones on the line now.
Bala Mohammed and a number of others are very, very close to me. I have immense respect for them. And there are issues, however, in the PDP, just as there are in any political party. But let me put this to you. The APC, the leadership of the APC has evolved dramatically. And that evolution has attracted people that are intellectual, that are sharp, that are smart,
that are focused, and that want to keep Nigeria together, and at the same time treat every Nigerian, regardless of faith, regardless of ethnicity, as one and as equal. That is what I find attractive about the new APC. So when you say that I will not die, I will live long and I'll prosper because I make the right choices at the right time. I will not stay in PDP simply for the sake of staying there, because I said something different in the past. I will move when I believe it's appropriate. I'll go forward. I'll save Nigeria. I'll fight for Nigeria. I'll defend Nigeria, and I'll defend our unity and our peace any day, anytime.
Okay, now this has been personalized. I will move Nigeria forward. With which truck? You will defend Nigeria with which ammunition? Okay, now it is personalized. That's fine. I will now say, okay, we've been blowing this grammar for the past 1 hour. You haven't said the reason why you decamp. That telling us that actually he has told us the party APC now is NAPC because he said he says it's the new PDP. No, he says it's the new APC. So we now have NFC. So we now have NAPC. That's what he has told us.
It is best for me to do that right now. Could this be possibly your final bus stop?
You're a wicked somebody. If rapture happened this night, I doubt if we'll go to heaven with this type of question. A man that has already nailed himself that Jesus is about to come, you want to nail him again? Shehu, fear God. Are you a carpenter?
Some of the stance that you had is giving you this kind of trouble that you're seeing today. Is in crisis right now.
Yes.
Are you sticking with the party?
But of course, the PDP is my party. I will never leave the party.
You're never considering going back to the APC?
I would never. The APC, absolutely out of the question. Until kingdom comes, until Jesus returns, that will never happen.
Now, he told you that until Jesus returns, Shehu, and you want him, I don't know, is it Satan that will return if you want him to make these promises? Someone that made you this promise based on Jesus returning. And someone is at the door. Maybe not, Jesus is knocking at the door. Is it? Is that Jesus at the door? Because, pray very well, because since he's saying Jesus will return, maybe now, because Jesus said Bible said he will come like a thief. Maybe now when all of you has gone to bed, and some of you now looking at me, by the time you go to the other room, by the time you go to the other room, Jesus will come, because the prophet here, Prophet Femi Fani-Kayode, has said it, that for him to go to APC will be only when Jesus comes. He's telling you something. He's giving you a expo. Jesus is coming this night.
Well, ask any politician that question and I'll give you the same answer. Only God knows tomorrow. As long as my core values, are honored and respected, I will stay where I am. I stayed in PDP for a very, very long time, despite a number of issues that arose. If you remember, I would have left a number of months back. But the whole National Executive Committee came to my house and made an appeal to me to stay, and I honored them by staying longer. However, anything can happen tomorrow if people do not do the right thing. I reserve the right to change my mind if, for example, I come to Channels Television and you're rude to me, and I say, oh, I will always be on Channels, but if you're rude to me, I will never come back again. So people,
if they are rude to you, never come back, but you are rude to people.
Do make decisions based on what is happening on any given day. But for now, I'm very comfortable. I'm very happy. I'm delighted to be here. I'm delighted at the fact that they have welcomed me with open arms, and they have given me a pride of place in the sense that the kind of access that I have to so many people in so many places, I never thought I'd have. I never thought I'd be able to get, given what has happened over the last 6 years. And that says a lot for Mr. President. It says a lot for the party leadership. It says a lot for the party. So that's where we are today. Only God knows tomorrow, but we will be consistent. We'll be clear. We'll be focused. Nigeria must remain one. Nigeria must stand together, and there must be no ethnic or religious bias. Given that, if that is the case, I will stand and I will fight my corner any day, anywhere within this party.
Talking about fighting your corner, already, some people already, those who perhaps agree or don't agree with you, already talking about your latest decision, and they're already criticizing. Let me just let you know some of the things that your critics are saying. some have criticized, and they wanted to know that they're saying that maybe you're leaving the PDP is finance related.
Oh, they're leaving the PDP. You know, Sheung is looking for trouble. Maybe this is finance related. Sheung, this is indeed trouble. Remember, someone asked him in Calabar who was bankrolling him. You know, you see, someone asked him this type of question, who was bankrolling him. But again, because this is a virtual distance, there is nothing. There is no camera there to break.
Ridiculous and absurd question.
Ooh.
I have never ever lacked in finances. There have been no inducements. Politicians don't move because of finances. If I wanted finances, I'd have moved a lot sooner than today. I've struggled and I've fought over the last 6 years more than any of the little monkeys that said what you just said to me now. And I am stand proud and I stand tall. The kind of family I come from, the kind of background I have.
Did he just say little monkey? Jesus Christ, that's a national TV. Huh? Ogabi coming down. Meanwhile, this is Mazes, okay, and once more, this is Njenje Media TV. If you are new to this place, hit the like button. Share this stream, share this video with others. Just hit the like button. Those of you on Facebook, how many of you? We only have 43 people hitting the like button. People, that is too poor. That is not correct. That is indeed not correct, and that is too poor.
Finance is never an issue. But of course, this is always the absurd narrative that people with a very small brain and a low intelligence quotient always put up when they feel threatened. And I don't care. You can insult me from morning till night. It means nothing to me. What is important to me is my God and the fact that I'm doing the right thing at the right time. I am considerably more wealthy than most people think. And I don't need anything from anybody. I work hard. I've always worked hard, and I've never lacked anything good. When I was fighting the government, you didn't talk about finances or no finances. Now that I'm not fighting the government, you're talking about finances or no finances. It's an old narrative. It's an old story. It's something that Nigerians, particularly Nigerians from a particular segment of society, like to say about those of us that are in the elite. And I'm not prepared to respond to such rubbish. And I'm surprised you should ask me that kind of question. Why don't you go and ask others like, no, wait a minute, let me finish. Why don't you go and ask the number of others that...
You see, that is it. He's going to destroy Femi now.
Same question whenever they defect. It's a very insulting question, and there's no basis to it whatsoever.
I'm pretty much, I'm sure that you know how to fight a battle, and in your corner, you pretty much know how to respond to those of your critics. We're due for a break in 30 seconds, but what do you say to your followers who have been following you, who believe everything you say, and now that you have the opportunity to communicate with them on your new decision, what do you tell them? They know where you stand, and today you've changed your stance. What do you say to them?
I say they've always known that whenever I make a decision, it's based on conviction and understanding, and it's for the right reasons, not the sort of nonsense that whoever you were quoting was saying over there. They believe in me, and those that believe in me have to trust me. Believe me, I usually get it right, and I'm usually far ahead of most people in such matters. I'm doing the right thing for Nigeria. I'm doing the right thing despite the kind of insults that you and others are putting to me by asking me that question. I will continue to do the right thing no matter what it is anybody says for this country and for my people. I will be in a position to effect change in this country. I will do the right thing for these people. Whether they see it in me today or not, they will see it tomorrow. This was the right decision. I will ensure we're in power. I will ensure the right thing is done with that power. I will ensure that our country remains together. Love me or hate me, that is me, and I'll stand where I stand. For my followers and supporters, I thank you, and I trust you, and I know you will trust me. That's what I have to say.
Chief Fani-Kayode, those were not insults from me. I was just taking questions from your critics. But we'll take it with that.
Thank you for putting...
Anyway, on that note, I would say thank you also, Femi, for putting these together. But again, it's not the first time. Remember? One time he was asked this question and the following also happened.
And if I had known that this is what you wanted to ask me, I would ask you not to ask me that kind of stupid question. I've been in politics since 1990. I was brought into politics by Marafa Sokoto. You understand me? Alachi Maro Shinkapi. I've been in politics for many years. I've been in this game. I've been a minister twice. I've been spokesman to the president for 3 years. And I've been a leading member of the opposition, the resistance, over the last 5 years. And a day has not passed that I have not spoken about what I felt was going wrong in this country, because that is what opposition is meant to do, and that is what was done to the PDP by the APC when PDP was in power. You understand me? For you to use the word, or anybody, including Yari, I never read that. But if you're right, even for you to repeat that to me, and can I please respond to you? Even for you to repeat that to me, sponsored at my level, by you, for what? I will speak against Yari free of charge any day, any time. I am FFK. Do you understand me?
On that note, I will leave it there. I say, people, you have seen it. The chicken, they say, has finally come home. FKK is now in the upper echelon of the APC. All progressive confidence. All progressive confidence. Even when he said the following before.
Some of the stance that you had is giving you this kind of trouble that you're seeing today. Is in crisis right now.
Yeah.
Are you sticking with the party?
But of course, the PDP is my party. I will never leave the party.
You're never considering going back to the APC?
I would never. The APC, absolutely out of the question. Until kingdom comes, until Jesus returns, that will never happen.
But you left the PDP for the APC.
Well, we've discussed that on many.
So that means until Jesus come, again, like I said before, Jesus is now about to come. As Femi Fani-Kayode tells us that Jesus is about to come. Now, on another story, there is a reason why I gave this lengthy of time, so that we understand, so that someone wouldn't say it's been misquoted, it was taken out of context. I've given us various times over a span of 7-8 years, the things he said and the context in which these things were said. Now, let's move on to Southern governors. You see, the Rafa fight is getting interesting because I'm loving it. The Southern governors met today again in Enugu, the Lion House, and they had the following. Obviously, it's, like I said, I love the fact that they met and they reaffirmed that they reaffirmed their stance on open grazing, that open grazing remains a no-no, that open grazing is one thing they will never consider. And many of the states, I think today, Abia State joined one of those states that signed the anti-open grazing bill. In total, if my memory serves me right, I think it's about 9 or 10 states that have signed that into law. Many people have seen online commenting that Imo State hasn't, though yes, Hope Uzodinma wasn't there today, but the deputy governor of Imo State was there. The communique also, emphasized on the need for, the communique also supported the VAT brouhaha that is ongoing. Not only that, the communique also went further. Quickly, let me just pull up that video quickly for us. The communique also went further to. Sorry, that's just for the communique went further to say that the Southern presidency is non-negotiable. Again, one thing that I like about what the Southern governors are now doing is, for the first time, as I've been telling us, they appear to have woken up from the sleep. And their counterparts from the northern part of Nigeria appear not to be too happy with them for doing what they've been, what their northern counterpart be doing for their people for time immemorial. For a very, very long time, the northern governors have been meeting. They meet, they make their decisions. They, these things are nothing, nobody ever bothered within the South. Why are you meeting? Why this? Why that? But for the first time, the Southern governors meet, all hell breaks loose. Suddenly, someone like here would now say, you met, you have the infantry to meet without actually consulting us.
Is that Gandhi said, whatever you do for me without me is against me. Ask all those, 13, 15 governors that met in that hotel. Was there any of the Fulani leaders consulted? Any of the Fulani leaders consulted? So they're there making laws for people that they have not consulted. This is a problem with government. Disconnected, out of touch with realities of people. You must sit down and talk with people you are making laws for. None of those governors have sat down with Fulani leaders in wherever they are and tell them what we're planning to do, or what we're going to do, or what alternatives are there. And then they're sitting down there and making laws.
All right.
Be careful.
I love that closing part that he always gives us, that warning shot by saying, be careful. Then I say, be careful or what? Be careful or what? Okay? But nonetheless, the Southern governors are not deterred. Honestly, I like their, I like their resolve. They seem not to bother at all, because they're all saying, well, we have a place to govern and our people are depending on us. In that case, we have to do what we consider the needful for our people. Now, quickly before I continue, I would just want to play the video of the communique as was issued today.
All of you, so our communique session, and I, on behalf of my colleagues, read the communique issued at the conclusion of our meeting held today in the coast city, Enugu. The Southern Governors Forum and its meeting today held in the Government House in Enugu State reviewed the state of the nation and the progress of the implementation of the decision reached in our previous meetings, and further resolved as follows. The meeting expressed satisfaction with the rate at which the states in Southern Nigeria are enacting or amending the anti-open grazing laws, which align with the uniform template and aspiration of Southern governors, and encourage the states that are yet to enact the law to do so expeditiously. The meeting agreed to encourage the full operationalization of already agreed regional security outfits, which will meet security and safety of the region. The meeting reaffirmed its earlier commitment to fiscal federalism as resolved at the inaugural meeting of the forum held on Tuesday, 11 May 2021 at Asaba, Delta State, and emphasized the need for the southern states to leverage the legislative competence of the respective state houses of assembly, as well as representation in the National Assembly, to pursue its inclusion in the Nigerian Constitution through the ongoing constitutional amendment. Following from paragraph 3 above, the meeting resolved to support the position that the collection of VAT falls within the powers of the states. 5. The meeting expressed satisfaction with the handling of issues around the PIB, PIA, Petroleum Industry Act, and ownership of NNPC by the Nigerian Governors Forum. The meeting reiterated its earlier position that the next president of Nigeria must come from the southern part of Nigeria in line with policies of equity, justice, and fairness. The forum thanked the host governor, Right Honorable Fani-Kayode, Guru, and chose River State as the next host for the Southern Governors Forum meeting in November 2021.
So when you look at that, obviously as a recap, I do also agree on what they said, but I definitely disagree on when they say that they are satisfied with the progress so far made. Now, these are the same people that gave us 1st of September as a deadline of every state within the South, signing these into law. But today is the 16th, that is 15 days over, yet not every state in the South has signed it. I do not call that entire progress, because it means you've gone, you are 2 weeks over target, yet you haven't basically, reached the set milestone, the milestone you set for yourself. That hasn't reached. But nonetheless, at least there is progress. For me, what it means is that reaffirmation. What would then need, it means the goalposts be moved. What we then need to now start working on is to hopefully think that by the time we get to November, when the next Southern Governors Forum meeting is going to happen in Rivers, in the land of the wickeds. That one is going to be Boskios Pinkies, because that's going to be hosted by Wike. Obviously, you know who he is. He's another vivacious person. And some of you have been insinuating that Wike will be the next to join the PDP. Listen, APC, sorry. For what has happened today, trust no one. No one knows what is going to happen next. Now, and that is it. Again, kudos to the Southern governors for standing their ground, not moving. However, there are states within the South that are not yet, they haven't yet signed this. We have some majority of them in the South, and many of them, majority of them in the South, and with states like Anambra. I think Anambra and the Ebonyi are the ones left in the Southeast. So, Obiano and Dave Umahi. Well, basically, not Obiano and Dave Umahi, because this is a question of the legislators. It is actually the job of the state assemblies to do the needful. Okay? So now, if we move away from this, we go to something related to this as well, where Femi Gbajabiamila, actually, deputy speaker, says that those IPOB and Yoruba Nation agitators that they are like terrorists. Again, many of you would take offense. No, Delta hasn't. No. Delta hasn't. The last time I checked, Delta hasn't, unless Delta.
So she appeared on Good Morning.
Oh, sorry, shut up.
Country
So let's
accommodating dissenting
okay, hold on. Yeah, that's
members of the House.
So remember that the presidency actually made some comments, regarding the Million March organized by Ninas, and Femi, as usual, wrote, there in Nigeria we have the presidency, and we have the president. Imo State has signed, yes. No, Imo has. Imo has an anti-grazing bill signed in 2006 under Achike Udenwa. So Imo State does not. So it's not when Hope Uzodinma came out and made those comments that he made. Apparently, those comments meant virtually nothing, because the state has that law, and eventually I think someone from the House of Assembly sent me a copy, copies of it, and I looked at it and I said to myself, well, this is a forward-thinking state in terms of what the governor at that point in 2006 did. Now, let us move into this conversation before we wrap it up. And again, for many of you who are now joining me, or those who have been watching me for the past 1 hour, I said thank you for being part of this broadcast. But again, if you still haven't subscribed to this channel, please, I beg you, if you're watching me on Periscope, if you're watching me on YouTube, on Twitter, or Facebook, kindly subscribe so that whenever I come online, and again, many of you will know my second channel, my personal channel, Mazi Ezoke, please, I want you to help boost the ministry there. I'm still not yet up to 1,000 days. And I'm like, so does it mean I don't even have 1,000 friends? Just search Mazi Ezoke on YouTube on that channel. Or most times when you watch a video towards the end, you will see that channel pop up on Njenje Media. Please subscribe to that channel, I beg of you. So let's quickly look at what Femi Gbajabiamila said today.
Reactions trailing the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila's comment, which compared those agitating for secession to Boko Haram insurgents and ISWAP terrorists. The Speaker made the comment on Wednesday in his address to welcome members of the House back from their 9 weeks recess. In his address, the Speaker said the refusal of the separatist movements in the southern part of the country to accommodate dissenting opinions makes them the same as terrorists. Well, let's take a quick listen before we come back for a discussion.
In the south of Nigeria, east and west, miscreants and criminals masquerading as separationist activists have emerged to wreak havoc, take lives, and commit economic sabotage against fellow Nigerians and against the state. These people, in their inclination for devastating violence against fellow citizens, their appetite for the destruction of private property, their disruption of academic activities, commerce and industry, their propensity for defiling institutions of the state, society and community, their refusal to engage in debate or to consider the possibility of dissenting opinions and alternative viewpoints are no different from Boko Haram and ISWAP. Given space and time, they will take our nation down the same path of destruction.
Well, in the meantime, the presidency, while reacting to Tuesday's agitation protest by a group known as Nigerian Indigenous Nationalist Alliance for Self-Determination at the United Nations headquarters in New York, says the cooperation between Yoruba Nation agitators and the indigenous people of Biafra is shocking and a worrying development. The presidential media publicity, Garba Shehu, said the Yoruba Nation agitators may not be taken seriously as a result of his association with IPOB, because IPOB is a designated terrorist organization. Dr. Bati, over to you for your analysis on both stories.
Well, okay, two reactions. Yes, one from the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the one from the presidency by Garuba Shehu with regard to the demonstrations that we had at the United Nations General Assembly by the group that you refer to, NINAS,
yes,
led by Professor Banji Akintoye. Professor Banji Akintoye is the leader of Ilana Omo Yoruba. And that group is a self-determination group, you know, and Sunday Igboho is also a member of that group. So the allegation from both the presidency and the Speaker of the House of Representatives is that, look, the Yoruba Nation agitators aligning themselves with IPOB, you know, are no different from Boko Haram and terrorists. So he jumped to that conclusion that all of them are terrorists. Well, I don't know whether the Speaker of the House of Representatives was just talking politics or he has concrete proof. However, there's been a response from Professor Banji Akintoye responding to both the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the presidency to say, no, this was not an IPOB event. It is, you know, a planned 1 million man freedom march that they intend to sustain between September 14 and September 24 to draw attention of the global community to issues of inequality, marginalization, and injustice in Nigeria, and to see whether, in fact, the National Assembly could be persuaded. Sorry, for those of you saying you can't see where to like the video, you need to exit the comment section. You know, if you click on the X, you exit the comment section, then you see like on your left. You smash the like button. Okay. If you smash it, then you also share the video. To support a referendum on the status of Nigeria. So, well, I mean, I don't expect that the Speaker of the House of Representatives, even if he may be exaggerating about the connections, to say that any group at all that is agitating for a nation out of Nigeria, you know, should be encouraged. Well, another thing that came up there is that the Speaker of the House of Reps, who has become very vocal currently, you know, in the last few weeks. Before now, he was media shy. He was quite reticent. But he has granted at least one major interview in which he said he was not interested in the governorship of Lagos State. Now, less than a week later, he's in the news again. So probably he's also on a media offensive. But what I find even more curious, apart from his unsubstantiated claims about, you know, the groups not being different from Boko Haram, is his, you know, statement about journalists. What was, I think he used a particular word about unsecure journalism, or is it or diluted journalism, and saying that journalists, you know, should support government and not be focusing on,
he said that,
you know, stories related to terrorism and all of that. Well, this is the punishment we face, you know, the embarrassment we face on this job. Everybody is a journalism teacher. You know, nobody teaches medical doctors how to do their job. They don't teach lawyers how to do their job. Well, when it comes to journalists, everybody has an opinion about how you can do the job. You know, just because maybe they read some story on social media, or they had an old uncle who used to be a newspaper vendor. I would like to advise the Speaker and the other members of the House of Representatives, now that they have returned from a 9-week recess, to focus on major issues of concern in Nigeria, of development. Gbajabiamila was accusing journalists of measuring the performance of lawmakers in terms of the bills that they are able to sponsor. Yes, that's how it is done in other parts of the world. And even if you don't sponsor bills in other parts of the world, they assess the quality of your contribution and how you stand on the big issues of the day. What we are saying to these lawmakers is that we cannot afford, you know, a National Assembly where half of the Assembly, or a significant number, will go there to play possum, sleeping, or going to toilet when major issues are supposed to be discussed. This is the point we are making. Exactly. Remember how these same people that meant to be representing us, when it came to the point of voting on the electronic transmission, suddenly many of them from the south, all had what the Germans call Durchfall, dysentery. started befalling all of them. You know that kind of, you know that type of shit that you to knock at the door of your otwa, and when you run to the toilet, you will not hear anything. You just hear something like that. That's what was befalling all of them, as if somebody sent something to them. And they ran into the toilet until the votes were counted. Some say, oh, I went to burial. I didn't know they were voting. That is what
and nobody can gag us in that regard. We want lawmakers to justify their presence in that assembly. So the problem is not with journalism. It's about the National Assembly focusing on the key issues of the day. And some of those issues were issues that were raised by those protesters. Their characterization is completely beside the point. What are they saying?
Right.
Is anybody listening to them?
Yeah.
That, for me, is the issue.
Tundu, what is your take on Femi Gbajabiamila's comparison with secessionists and terrorists?
What I heard him say, he was referring to the thin end of the wedge, which is a problem we've had in this country across the board. How an incident or an issue can start off small and end up snowballing into a huge crisis. However, I would have appreciated some nuance in his comments. Cast your mind back, well, before we were born, pre-independence. Somebody like Anthony Anahoro would have been described in those terms by whoever was in charge back in the day. Today, we celebrate him as one of our founding fathers. Self-determination is the most noble of human instincts.
I agree with you.
Terrorism is the basis of human instincts. It's completely different, like night and day.
Yes.
So I don't appreciate that conflation. We need to be nuanced in what we are saying. People have the right to demand justice. This is a democracy.
Yes.
Even under a dictatorship, there are those brave souls who lay down their lives to demand their rights. We have fundamental human rights,
yes,
one of which is freedom of assembly. So I also do not appreciate Garbashe, who's rather patronizing, oh, Yoruba people don't hang out with the bad kids. We don't need to be parented. No, that's what it sounds like.
Right.
Like a parent saying, don't hang out with those dodgy ones.
Right.
No, I find it very, very patronizing. We have freedom of association in this country.
Everyone
we have the right to protest peacefully.
Correct.
And what should be done is to listen. What are the issues driving these people? Especially when you look at the fact that we've just talked about a naval base in Kano.
Yeah.
There's so many things. It's so obvious. You cannot just be dismissive about it. I'm sorry. And regarding the journalists and the slap on the wrist by the speaker as well, I see nothing wrong as far as metrics go. The number of bills sponsored, your efficiency and your oversight. I don't know what else do they do. Mm-hmm. You're a public servant. I must stress, servant. You work for the public. So you must be accountable to the public. The media is also working for the public and letting the public, the electorate know, this is who you have sent there. This is how they have performed for you. What's wrong with that?
Very well
I
said,
remember now, he called it uninspired journalism, whatever that means.
Rufai, what is your take on Garba Shewu's comment when he said that the Yoruba agitators will not be taken seriously because they associated themselves with IPOB?
I mean, I don't take his take seriously. I'm sorry to say that. There are pertinent issues on ground we need to solve. I don't take his...
I think I'll add, apart from Shewu this evening, I'll add another one crate of 12 bottles of Ompa to Rufai as well.
You see, we need to be honest with ourselves in this country. We can't keep deceiving ourselves. You see, it's the deceit and the pushing the evil day away is what is causing all the problem. Let us talk. That's what I keep saying every time. You can't say, oh, why are we having agitations? And I keep saying, you see, the agitations of the Igbo is not about Nnamdi Kanu. Why is it that we still say that the civil war is not over yet? Why is it that in 2004, a certain Rafu Wazurike, when he found the embers of this agitation, things started up again? Because injustices have been done and you have not solved the problem. And thus it is as simple as ABC. So if you don't solve the problem and you think it can go away, the problem will not go away. So that's why I don't buy his take on this.
Exactly. I totally agree. Because there is a reoccurring decimal Why is it that after Ralph Wazirika, you have an Nnamdi Kanu? Even if Nnamdi Kanu is not in the picture, there is a reoccurring decimal. Again, what the government ought to do is to deal with the issue that breeds the agitation. Again, and one of my cliche here is that at the heart of every agitation lies injustice. As long as we keep, perpetrating this injustice across ethnic divide, as long as the elite keep pushing the downtrodden towards this path, towards this channel, this agitation, even today, will be like something gone to the gym. The agitation is just pumping. It's not even started unless the injustice is addressed. On that note, I agree with Rufai.
Oh, protest. The Yoruba nation to feel agitated. The question we should ask Garbashi is, what caused the protest of the Yoruba nation? When they were killing people in Ogongo, what did he say about it?
Bagam, when people were killed in Ogongo, what happened? When people were shot in Aba, in a school where they've gone to pray, what happened? When people were killed in Onitsha, in Ezu River, when, army that ought to protect lives and property kill people, take acid, pour on their body. Jeez, honestly, I don't want to get into that, but until these injustices is dealt with, tell me, why would someone who is from the community failed me now, from Enugu State, Uzowani, who wakes up one day unprovoked, people will come into in the community, massacre the people, burn houses, burn churches, burn cars. You think the generations that will hear these stories, when they wake up, they will say, thank you very much, you've done very well. A war, unnecessary war, avoidable war, if men at that point gave some latitude, at least, mellowed down on their ego and allowed a little bit of negotiation to happen, we wouldn't have lost about 3 million lives needlessly. But sadly, we have, and we did. In that, we had a time frame with a policy of 3 hours, 3 hours to rebuild, to reconstruct, to reconcile. The legend of Egwebiri, Ozemen Nsugbe, in one of his songs said, we never reconcile, we didn't reconcile, we didn't rebuild. Till yet, you left the people after giving them 20 pounds to rebuild 50 years down the line. That same reoccurring decimal is coming in. For how long shall we continue wallowing in this that we cannot for 1 second begin to ask ourselves, how do we, or how are we going to solve this? People have said, give us a referendum to decide. What is a referendum? Ask us this question and give us the right, protect our votes, let us make decisions. Do we want to live together? Do we want to go our separate ways? And if we have to go our separate ways, how are we going to do that? Rather than listen to the people, I do understand what Gbajabiamila was also saying. Rather than listen to the people, the state will come heavy on you. Sadly, also, sometimes it would then appear that even the so-called agitators, maybe because of over the years military abuse, I'm not holding brief anyone, appear to also do the same thing that the state is doing by not giving people the choice. It appears if the state says, I'm not going to give you referendum, then in enforcing whatever you are doing, you also not giving people the choice to make a choice. This is it. And this narrative that we do must also change. where you say, oh, when we get this, we'll deal with you. When we no. This is not a vendetta thing. There must be a time that everyone must have to sit down and agree on a way forward.
When they were destroying people's homes in the Gogo, that Sunday Igboho and the likes were shouting, what did he say?
Exactly.
What solution has been brought to the problem in the Gogo?
We need solution.
And the lawmaker, I don't take those ones seriously too. At a time where a country is in crisis, security crisis, people can afford to go on 9 weeks holiday. Doesn't that speak volumes about them?
Man, 9 weeks holiday, that's like 2 freaking months. I don't know who, if you divide it by days, Jesus Christ. You know what it means? 9 weeks holiday. You know what it means by days? Jeez. Man, these people get liver. 9 weeks.
Then somebody comes back and say we are not doing inspiring journalism. But when it's election time, they want to make media appearance. They know us that time. They call us. They come on air and come and talk. But now they are teaching us how to do our job. But when they are vying for that position, they will sit down maybe in front of Dr. Abati and say, Dr. Abati, you're a fantastic journalist. You've been doing this for over 40 years. They know us then, no? But all of a sudden, we are not doing inspiring journalism. Why is it that any time journalists try to say things as they are, then they attack us? You see, we are not against, we just want a better nation. Edmund Burke calls us the fourth estate of the realm. We are the balancer in society. And we report the narrative we see. Just like
That's
somebody say, take off reports about bandit attack from the news.
That's why
bandit
people
attack
don't
should
like
stop.
it.
If there's no bandit attack, we're going to report it.
Exactly. We'll take another story.
Exactly.
President Muhammadu Buhari's announcement.
It just is a fine place to live. If there are no bandits attacks, who's going to report it, people? It's now been 2 hours. I think I'm going to drop the next story that I was about reviewing, which is the battle on VAT. I would rather summarize it that Olisa Agbakoba, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe I would, obviously, I promise. I'll do Olisa Agbakoba on my tomorrow Friday hangout. Remember, tomorrow is Friday. You join me 7 p.m. Make sure you come with your drink. If you don't have a drink on Friday hangout, don't come, because that's a time we drink and we talk. We talk sense with drink. There is a reason why it's called Friday hangout. Last week I had the privilege of having the Odudu Bariba one of Africa joining me. That was in the person of Charlie Boy Oputa, the area father number 1, the Agadi Ekwenka, what's it called? Flavor will say the palliative. So he joined me. We had fun. And next, tomorrow is going to be another, fun day. But having said that, people, someone won. 2 people won the prize for last week, and 1 person has gotten in touch with me. That is Papobi Nonye Dot. Again, tomorrow, or rather, I would want you, if you're one of those, the person that got the question right last week, please get in touch with me at, using the email address, njenjemedia@gmail.com. Please send me your details, or you can see the number on the lower, on the bottom there, the lower third. You can use the number, send a WhatsApp message or SMS, get in touch so that you get your own gift for guessing right what Odudu Bariba was drinking last week. People, it has been a pleasure. It has been my pleasure to have you in the last 2 hours. I don't want to let it go beyond that. I would ask you, and I'll beg you once more, join me tomorrow again. And please, like this and do me a favor, subscribe if you haven't done so. See you tomorrow. I am still Mazezoke. It has been my pleasure to have you all this while. All this analysis we have done. Again, politicians, they will never ever change. Because sometimes when I look at these things, I say to myself, wow, 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 wow. There is a reason somehow to happiness more, because the election season is round the corner.
All right. Have you voted?
I'm voted, yeah.
Okay, so
I'm happiness, I'm voted, yeah.
tell me your feeling after voting today.
Yeah, after voting, I'm feeling okay. What I want, I get it on the result. I'm getting the party I want is the one going on. Thank you for that.
What are you expecting from these people you voted?
I'm voted, they can do what you want, and then when they want, what they want, inshallah, we'll happiness more. Isn't it?
So, isn't it? Are you not a happiness more? Ma says, okay, it's a happiness more, but Nigeria is not working. Nigeria is not, it's not me, I'm not saying it, but Nigeria is not working. Because if I ask Buhari now, he will tell me the same thing. You want to doubt me? Mr. President, what do you think about Nigeria?
The government has failed to do its...
Oh, Mr. President, I haven't finished and you're telling me government has failed. Which government has failed?
The government has failed to do its principal duty of protecting life or property of all beings inside its territory.
Okay, on that note, Mr. President, since you said the government has failed to protect lives and properties, and now Mazi has lost 2 kilos for this thing you have said now, what do? I have to go to sleep. I am losing weight.
Are we likely to use a different approach in the fight against insecurity, especially kidnapping, which is a big issue now, sir?
No, I have just seen the IG. I think he is still losing weight, so I think he's working very hard.
Oh, I am losing weight. I'm working very hard. People, I say good night, everyone.
I represent and symbolize all the characteristics of a typical Igbo man. Yes, I've learned to be more Igbotic than I ever expected. As an Igbo man, I've perfected the act of being tenacious in any dream that I chase. To be industrious, be consistent, and powerfully focused. All the lessons I learned from the brothers in the tribe have made me dogged, hardworking, and exhibiting the ability and the capacity to survive in any kind of weather. Yes, I am an original Wafo because